Hey guys, welcome back today on the channel. It's a sad day in the football industry, in the transfer market industry, because it's been announced that Mino Raiola has passed away. This time the news is true because it's been shared directly by the family of Mino Raiola, by the official accounts of Mino Raiola too. And so it's a really sad day. I want to wish Mino to rest in peace. My prayers and our prayers are with the family, with people close to him. But I want to tell you something of my experience with Mino Raiola, something that is part of my life as a journalist, because I always saw a lot of stories about Mino Raiola in the press, a lot of stories on social media, of course, and each person has his own opinion, so I'm not here to judge other opinions, but I can tell you that Mino Raiola was a real game changer. This is the perfect definition for him. He was incredible. He was simply incredible. I don't know if many of you know his history, but he started his company and his work as an agent out of nothing, really. He was not from a rich family. He was not from an important family. Part of his family, they were not in the football world. So he did everything by himself, working between Italy and Holland. He was half Italian, half Dutch, but what he did in the relationship with the players, because many of you know of the stars Mino Raiola had for many years in the last few seasons, the last few years, but in the history, players like Pavel Nedved, Ballon d'Or winner, Zlatan Ibrahimovic in his prime, and now Zlatan has always been super close to Mino Raiola. When he heard the news of Mino Raiola in terrible conditions, he's always been close to Mino. And he's not the only one, because all the top stars, all the top players were together with Raiola till the last minute. He was not just an agent, he was a friend for his players. He was a person that was ready to fight for them. And maybe this is why many football fans were not able to understand his real values. Of course, we know that the situation for the clubs is different and for the fans is different. But Mino Raiola, in the relationship with people, into his agency, with people, his players, and with journalists, was a real genius. Players used to love him because he was fighting for their interest. And so he was always trying to get out the best of the negotiations for his players. But also, it's important to say that as a journalist, I always had a great experience with Mino Raiola. It's something that has always been special. I spent 8-9 years of my life going around the city in Milano, in the center, in the hotels, in the restaurants, always since I was 18, to meet with agents, to meet with directors, to meet with presidents, to meet sometimes with players, to build my network. And Mino Raiola was like the dream, to meet with Mino Raiola. It happened like 1 time or 2 times per year, so it was not so easy to find Mino Raiola around. But trust me, every single time that Mino was in the street or was at some event or in some place and you had the chance to meet with him, Mino was the most nice guy in the world with journalists. He was super funny. He was really ready to answer the questions, even if it was not the biggest media to ask him. He was always planning for the next step. He was always planning for the next player. He was absolutely smart, and that's why he was a game changer. So, for example, I still remember one time into the streets of Milano asking him about Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and he was not so happy with the questions because Ibrahimovic was close to come back to Italy from Barcelona, but he was never denying the news. He was like loving and then leaving the conversation at the right moment. Mino Raiola was a game changer. I can just mention some of the incredible players he worked with, like Gianluigi Donnarumma, Erling Haaland, Paul Pogba, Zlatan Ibrahimovic himself, but also Marco Verratti, and many others. He's an incredible number of stars that used to work with Mino Raiola. Now all the players are with his family, with Vincenzo Raiola, Sandro Martone, people working into his team. They will now take care of the future, but what Mino Raiola did in the world of football is something incredible. Into my experience, guys, it's something that I will never forget, because he was always kind, but not just with me, with all Italian journalists, and not just Italian journalists. He had a big fight in public with Sir Alex Ferguson, who was not happy with the situation with Mino because of that Paul Pogba deal. But imagine, on an agent point of view, the negotiation of Mino Raiola with Paul Pogba. He trusted Paul Pogba when he was a super young talent. He decided to let him go to Juventus on a free. Juventus made Paul Pogba famous in the world as one of the top talented midfielders, and then Man United bought him back for more than 100 million euros. So that was a masterpiece for an agent, and so that's why a player like Paul Pogba will be always grateful to Mino Raiola, but not just him, really. Many and many top players around the world for 30, 40 years know that Mino Raiola made the difference. And so it's really sad today to announce and confirm that Mino has passed away, even because he was 54. He was sick since a long time. But really, he's been a legend of this game, of the transfer market. People can have their opinion, but what Mino did for the transfer market, the communication style, his comparison between art and football, his ideas, his strategies were something else. Something that will never happen again in the world of football, because Mino Raiola changed the transfer market these years. And my experience has always been positive with him. Every time I met with him, every time I spoke with him, he's always been serious, respectful, and funny, because he was really a nice guy, a funny guy. And so, guys, this is the news that we never wanted to share, but rest in peace, Mino, and this is the experience with one of the legends of the game on the transfer market point of view.